What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 100 of the 2016 season. Great to see you here. I'm streaming live this beautiful Friday night, October 21st. Coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm your host, three-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner Dutch Boyd, and we are on the wsop grind tonight. wsop.grind. What are we playing? So the first thing we're playing is this 2K guaranteed. It's a $10 rebuy and add-on, so it ends up being usually a $30 tournament, sometimes a $40 or $50 tournament, and every once in a blue moon, we just go off and it's like 70 or 90. We're also playing this 3K guaranteed tonight, and it's the Friday night action, guys. Should be pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and dump this one. Should be pretty good. How's your weekend starting off, you guys? It's great to see you here in the stream. Was a little sick this week, so didn't get the streams in that I had hoped, but back to about 85%. A little bit of a stomach bug. Had a little buddy in town today. We went to go grab a bite over at Payman's. That was pretty good. One of our mods, Lauren Koss, last year, him and I did a hackathon, a Money 2020 hackathon over at the Venetian, along with Poker Mindset Coach here in the stream, Bobby Big Buy-In here in the stream, and Bobby Big Buy-In's girlfriend. And we took down a 5K prize, so he's coming back this year for the hackathon this weekend. And I wish him the best of luck. He asked if I wanted to be on, but I was like, no, I think I'm gonna stream instead. I think I would rather just hang out with the crew, play a little bit of poker, leave the code slinging to someone else this year. Last year it was tough. It was a tough competition. It was pretty cool to actually walk away with some money though. All right, let me go ahead and load up this other tournament too, the 3K guarantee. This is the bigger tournament. You know, this is the biggest tournament that they have going tonight. So it's a $30 rebuy and add-on. The add-on is a double add-on. Huh, kind of like that. SDSU Surfer just kind of going crazy. Just shoving 2,687 in the middle. But you know what, you guys? It's early, and I kind of feel like Pocket Tins is probably ahead of what he's shoving with. I mean, we're on the second hand. The last hand he had Ace-5 and donked off half of his stack. So let's see what he's got. Pocket Jacks. Pocket Jacks. Really felt like there was a pretty decent chance that he's shoving with any pocket pair and a lot of his bigger aces. So 4 hands beat us. Everything else we're in pretty good shape, and a good chunk of the time we're just completely crushing him. Nope, he had one of those 4 hands, and now we're down to 52-43. It's all right. It's early. If we can't build back up to 8,000, then chances are we're just going to be putting in another bullet into this thing. Let's go ahead and make the fold here and switch back over to the 2K for now, since it's a little bit deeper. Kim Unger just subbing 18 months in a row. Kim, thank you very much for sticking with the stream and keeping that sub going. It really means the difference between streaming and not. So thanks a lot. Really appreciate you, Kim. We also have SD Bub in the stream. Great to see SD Bub. I hope that your weekend's going well. And no Exmoa tonight. Why is Exmoa not on the stream anymore? She got her wisdom teeth pulled this week, so she's hurting and she's swollen and she's got big holes in her mouth now. Mr. Don't Tread on Me, good to see you. Says, what's up, Dutch? Time to win all the money. I'm gonna try. Let's switch back over to this 3K guaranteed, where we're in this situation. Ace Queen of Diamonds. Louis Helm, good to see you. It's watching from Thailand. time is it there? That's got to be it's got to be in the morning, huh? Let's go for 60. We also have Yeah Boy Casey. Great to see you. Says, what's up, Dutch? I banked 2 tourneys last night. Feeling good. Nice job. Nice job. Yeah Boy Casey. Congrats, man. Way to take the money. Well done, sir. Let's go ahead and move that down a little bit. Great to see you, Louie. Episode 100. It's been a good year. It's been a good year. Thomas Skidmore, 9 months in a row. Great to see him, man. He says, glad to see you playing. Always informative and entertaining. Well, Thomas, thank you very much for keeping that sub going. As long as you keep on subbing, I will keep on streaming. Ronald C. Open limping. This might be a little bit optimistic. It's a little bit early to start putting those aggro moves, but when you got an open limper here, you know, we're 7-handed. Really was looking at this hand feeling like we're ahead of Ronald C. Maybe even dominating Ronald C. So why not isolate Ronald C? That plan didn't work. SDSU Surfer calling on his button, and then Chip Me Up just shoving, spewing. Huge amount of chips in there. I don't know what he could have there where that's a good move. Let's go ahead and make the raise here with our 5-6 of spades. Nope. Those aren't spades. Those aren't spades, Dutch. Those are clubs. Those are called clubs. They have the little round things on them, so that makes them clubs. So no tilt here. What is the Hearthstone ranking? Slipped a rank, so now I'm 6. Rank 6. Only have 9 more days in the 10 more days in the Hearthstone season to make it a legendary. Will it happen? I don't know. Yeah, you know what, Anags? It's early enough here. We're gonna go ahead and see a flop. We're gonna go ahead and whiff a flop. No tilt here. Great to see you, man. And yeah, we're just mucking that. Goodbye. Goodbye, 6 high. Switch back over to the 2K. So we were in for 1 rebuy here. Looks like we're probably going to be in for another bullet in this 3K guaranteed. I'll let you guys know how that goes. Right now it's so early, 10:20. A lot of people will lose the 1,000 chips just so they can get back down to rebuy territory. Not me. Every chip is sacred. No politics tonight, guys. I'm not talking any politics tonight. Did you guys see the debates? I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about those nasty debates. Let's go and make the fold. Corona 225, good to see you. What's up, number 100? Look at that. Starting the stream. Starting the stream good. Pocket aces right here. Let's is it all that you slice off Vegas lame? Who can't hack the strip? He a dick. Yeah, okay, all liquid beats. Yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can't get a little bit more out of you. He makes the call. That's good. Yeah, fire at the same amount, I guess. And we got him on the hook. Let's go for 600 here. Five, 6, 9, 10, queen. We'll keep on going like it's the best hand, and it is. Ship it to the aces, pocket aces. So that means our aces never cracked a meter, currently at +3. We get to increase that right off the bat. It's going to be a good night, guys. It's going to be a good night. Grateful Mouse in the stream. Great to see you, sir. Grateful Mouse. Happy number 100. Thank you. We also have Ross the Boss. Always a pleasure to see you, Mouse. Hope that you have a good weekend. We got Maverick BP. Good to see you, Maverick. You okay?
Yeah, I need to take more medicine.
That's a good idea.
I just ran out. Like a squirrel.
Ed M727 saying good luck, Dutch, and congratulations on number 100. Thank you, Ed. Thank you. I didn't know if we were going to make it this far. No, I knew. We were, I was actually shooting for 200 this year. I don't think that we're getting 200. We're not going to be getting 200 streams, but 100 streams, that's a lot of streams. You know, at anytime someone asks me, where have you been, Dutch? You hardly ever stream anymore. I'm going to just point to the number. I'm going to say, 100 streams, man. That's a lot of streaming. It's a lot of streaming. That's a lot of hours put in here on Twitch. A lot of hanging out, a lot of arguments, a lot of watching videos and laughing about you know, YouTube dogs doing weird stuff. Speaking of which, I saw a YouTube video of a dog playing pool, and it was the best thing I've seen on the internet ever. I might load it up on break, so stick around. Kinticus says, what's up, Dutchy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, Facebook is getting nasty, Grateful Mouse. I made a little comment on Poker Mindset Coach's Facebook page and had one of his friends call me a retarded dipshit. A liberal retarded dipshit. I was like, okay. Whoa, cowboy. You don't know me. You don't know me. Yeah. So CMAC85, good to see you. We got No Tilt here saying, who won the debate? We all won. I like to think we all won. Oh no, Ross the Boss losing $600 all in pre with his aces versus kings versus ace king. So yeah, that sucks. Sorry to hear it. Mike Diamond, good to see you. Do work, Dutch. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to do some work tonight, Mike. I'm hoping to make let's just juggle final tables tonight. That can happen. Ah, look at that. Mike Diamond subbed 3 months in a row with the Twitch Prime. Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you very much for sticking with us another month and keeping this stream going. All right, make the fold there with a king, six of clubs. Where are we on those aces? Do they catch up yet? I think that they did. I think they did. So I'm going to go ahead and edit that aces cracked meter. We're at 3, guys and girls, guys and girls. There we go. The hand that never loses didn't let us down that time. Didn't let us down that time. Okay, Vegas Bell with the wow. So that was kind of a fun little run out. Set of sixes. Did they get that all in on the turn? Appears that way. So I don't really blame Vegas Bell. I mean, what are you gonna do? You hit your set. You hit your set. You can't just You know, you can't just fear the flush every time three spades come out. And Luscious Crow, bless your heart, hits the spades and just shoves all in. Vegas Life, good to see you in the on the table, man. And good luck to you. Let's make some final tables, man. Let's do it. Shorty Lambert's in the stream, everybody. Good to see you, Shorty. AZ Clay chilling out with us tonight. Good to see AZ Clay. Good to see you, Clay. Let's go ahead and make the raise here to 180. Wow, 60 into 630. 11 to 1. How can I say no? We have outs here. Ace probably does it for us. Hell, a 6 might be good. I actually think a 6 probably is good here. I don't know that I can value bet it though. No. Luscious. Louis Crow firing out the minimum into a 600 pot with top pair and then giving up on the turn of the river. Interesting. Interesting way to play that, Louis. I guess that's why we have a bony fish on you. Just making weird bets. Bet sizing needs some work there, Crow. Dump it. Kiwi, good to see you. He says 100th episode. Nice work, bro. And thank you and Exmoff for it. Kiwi, thanks for being such an awesome part of the stream. Really appreciate you being here. And thank you very much for the resub. It says 2 months, you guys, but Kiwi's been with us since practically the beginning of our Twitch stream. So really appreciate you being here. Go ahead and make the fold there. Oh, yeah, I gotta admit, you guys, I'm a little tired. I was up all night watching some Black Mirror as soon as it came out. Dennis G says, great to see you streaming on WSP Dutch. Best of luck tonight. Thank you very much, Dennis. And if you're playing tonight, good luck to you too. Oh, yeah, pretty tired. Sorry if that is if that's contagious, you guys. I'll have to get some coffee on the break. Grateful Mouse. Let's make Pocket Jacks great again. Pocket Jacks has always been great. It's a great hand. It's always been a great hand. It always will be a great hand.
Wrong.
Wrong. Oh, man. Whew. To XRD, good to see you. Says been a while since I caught the stream. Like the beard. Thank you very much, RD. think I'm gonna let it grow. I think we're gonna keep this going for a while. Not gonna trim it. It's gonna let it go wild. It's getting a little irritating, to tell you the truth. I might shave it by Sunday. I don't know. I don't know when the over under is for the life of this thing. Maybe through Movember. Did we just lose somebody? It looks like we did, huh? Someone decided not to take that rebuy in this 2K. All right. We got moved. Got Weed Monkey to our left. Nice username. Weed Monkey. I like it. And Virgin Ice, look at that, 19 months in a row. Virgin Ice, thank you very much for keeping this this channel alive. Really appreciate the resub, Virgin Ice. Monarch Black, hope you're feeling better. Let's get some 100th run good. I hope so, man. I hope so. Yeah, this week sucked. I was having some pretty bad stomach pain. Pretty bad stomach pain. Still not at 100%, but good enough where I can feel like we're not just throwing away money streaming. Little pocket tens action looks pretty good. Looks pretty good from here. I like that Dragon Reborn. And is that Wales? Is that what we decided that that flag is? The dragon with the white and the green. The Wales flag. The Welsh flag. Yeah, you know, no tilt here. Maybe I will get a little green tea instead of coffee. All right, Dragon Reborn, Go Thunder. I do feel like Pocket Tens is the best hand here, so let's fire out 270. Don't really feel like giving free cards to hands like King Queen, King Jack, Queen Jack. Getting called by Dragon Reborn, what does it mean? Well, probably means that our pocket tens are no good. Let's go ahead and check back and see what Dragon Reborn does. If he checks on the river, then maybe I fire out a value bet trying to get called by a hand like 9-10, 9 Jack. Instead, he fires out half pot. You know, this isn't a situation where we were heads up post-flop. This is a spot where Dragon Reborn was calling, having to also worry about Go Thunder. This kind of line is exactly what we would expect if he had a hand like Ace 7. There's so many hands here that beat us, so many combinations here that beat us. And I really think that if he had a 9, I don't think he's value betting. So I'm going to go ahead and make the fold here because I just don't think that we're ahead. I just don't think we're ahead. I think that we're looking at an ace, some sort of weakish ace. And yeah, you know, I against a better player, I'm gonna have to make the call there. Against a player that we know is strong, or against players that we have some sort of history with, I'm gonna have to make the call there. Especially because, you know, if a lot of times if we're in that situation with kind of a weaker ace, we're not going for the value bet. We're going for the bluff induction there. and we're also really not sure where we're at if we have a hand like ace rag. But until we know different, I'm going to go ahead and just assume the Dragon Reborn is playing it exactly like I would expect him to play. Like an average player to be playing a hand like Ace 10, Ace Jack, Ace 8, which is call the flop, check the turn, and if I check back, fire out a value bet. Hope to get called with a 9 or a pair. And I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to call him with the pair. I know you guys think a few of you are probably thinking that's an obvious call because he could be betting with what, a 9? No, he's not value betting a 9. He's value betting an ace, and I mean, yeah, some players were gonna have to make the call, but I don't really know anything about Dragon Reborn. I haven't seen him around until he shows me something different. I'm going to just assume that he's not firing out there without one. And I'll tell you what else too. I'd be a lot more likely to call if it wasn't ace ace 9. If it was like queen queen 9 or jack jack 9, I'd be a lot more likely to call. But there's just so many more combinations of aces that people are willing to play. I mean, you're going to see, especially in the blinds there, players are willing to play any ace. They're not willing to play any king. They're not willing to play any queen or any jack. So when an ace does show up, it's a lot more likely to pair a hand than other cards. Devilfish asking how soft to difficult has the $500 live buy-in tourney been for you? It's really it really just depends on where they are. I haven't really had too much luck in like the $500 buy-ins at the series. At the Colossus. I haven't done really that well in the Colossus. I would just say that the deeper the field, the softer it's going to be, but the higher the variance. I definitely wish you the best of luck in your $500 buy-in. Which one are you playing? D Brown Dan, good to see you. Says, hey Dutch, tips for playing low pocket pairs. Seems like no matter what the flop is, you have to worry that someone easily paired above you. Signs to look for. D Brown Dan. It's pretty hard to give you general advice for playing certain hands. I can come up with some general advice for some hands, like pocket aces. Raise with them. With low pocket pairs, you pretty much have to decide whether you're set mining or whether you're playing, for value as the best hand without improvement. If you're playing like, well, let me show you. We're in the 3K with pocket threes. In this situation, we got BK1048 and Gary J. Everyone's folded to BK1048, who's a little bit of an aggro player. So in this situation, I'm going to go ahead and choose to play pocket threes like it's the best hand, like we don't need to hit. We're going to try to isolate it here, try to get to about 320. And if Gary J calls and BK1048 calls, now we have to change our strategy, and it's going to take a very special flop for me to look at pocket threes and think that it's the best hand. Queen 4-5. It's not really that great. We're going to go ahead and keep on going. It could be worse. Could be ace 4-5. But yeah, I mean, if Gary J calls us now, we're pretty much just going to be done with the hand. All right. So generally, Dan, the more players that you're up against pre-flop, the less likely your low pocket pair is going to be ahead post-flop unless you hit a set. If you can get it into a situation where you're heads up or up against maybe just two opponents, and the board comes out pretty polarizing, like we just saw Queen 4-5. If they didn't hit a queen, they're probably not going to continue. Every once in a while, you'll find somebody who loves the move up against those polarizing boards representing the queen. Every once in a while, but for the most part, you're going to be running up against a lot of players who just fit or fold. And when they don't hit the flop, they give up. That's usually the MO of most players you run across in most tournament situations and most cash game situations. They're seeing if they hit, and if they don't, they abandon ship. Every once in a while, you'll find opponents who mix it up a little bit more and are a little bit less willing to just give up if they don't hit. And you just have to be ready to call down with a hand like pocket threes if you think you're up against an opponent who is willing to take some crazy lines. And it sucks, but you just hope that they don't have the queen, they don't have the overpair. It's hard to give real general advice that's going to apply for all situations, though. Generally, though, you decide going into the flop based on how many opponents are going to see the flop with you, whether you're taking your pocket pair in as a set mining opportunity or as a hand that needs improvement, or you're going to be giving up on it. Okay, so Grateful Mouse has a question. By the way, Kiwi, Eximo is here in the room, but she had her wisdom teeth pulled this week, so she's a little bit swollen and still in a little bit of pain, and is not going to be joining us on the stream for probably not until next week. All right. So Grateful Mouse has a question. He says, the local casino is running their big tourney on Sunday. The starting stack is 30,000, but they give you an extra 1,000 if you reg early, at least an hour before starting time, and another extra 500 if you are seated for the first hand dealt. Do you think it's worth getting there that early for 1,500 in free chips? I don't really like missing hands anyway, Grateful Mouse. But I also don't like wasting an hour doing nothing. So probably not. I don't think that I would get there an hour early just to get the extra chips. I mean, it's 3% is what they're giving you. I guess it depends on what the buy-in is, but I mean, if the buy-in, let's say the buy-in is 200 or 300, what they're basically doing is they're giving you 3% extra in equity. So let's say it's $100 tournament, they're giving you $3 to show up early and do nothing. I guess in their mind, what you're going to be doing is sitting down in a cash game. That's the plan, right? Let's go ahead and bribe these guys to get here early so they can play cash games and we can rake it off. If it's like $200, that means they're giving you $6 for an hour. And I guess, I mean, what would you be doing if you're gonna just be hanging out at home reading a book anyway? Then why not just bring your book to the casino? If you would be at the casino anyway to have some breakfast, or if you want to play cash, then I guess that's fine. But unless it's like a pretty big tournament, chances are your time is worth more than the hourly rate they're paying you for that hour. Just look at the buy-in of the tournament, multiply it by 0.03, and decide whether an hour of your life is worth more or less than that. And if it's worth if it's worth less, then then go pick up those extra chips. But I don't really think that I don't really think that your EV is going to change significantly based on a having 30K or 31K. I would probably show up for that first hand though. I don't really like missing hands. I make the fold there with ace 9 off. We got GG Donk TV. Good to see you, GG Donk. And yeah, good luck in that ACR tourney. Yeah, boy KZ. We got Rob K in the stream. Always a pleasure to see you, Rob. That was a lot for Go Thunder to be putting in there with a pair of nines. Gets the double add-on. Let's see how that went down. So the nuts made the open. No, that was blind versus blind, wasn't it? Yep. Okay, so we got Levita River, who's been doing a lot of these min raises. Raising, and then nuts making it 500. And just spewing, wow. All right. It's too much to be putting in there, nuts. Too much of a spew. And Go Thunder decided to look him up with his 10-9. I don't really love it. You know, Devilfish, I gotta tell you, you're gonna see about the same caliber of play as in a $500 buy-in tournament as you see in a $60 tournament. You're still gonna see a lot of superfish. Yeah, it's just not that different. It's not that different. Got a fun little hand over here. Pocket queens on the button. Just lost a few chips to Ronald C with pocket nines. It's coming with that open limp again. All right, SDSU Surfer making the call, Ronald C making the call, and King High. So now we have SDSU Surfer firing out 307 into two opponents here. Little over half pot. I guess he could have a diamond draw. Let's look him up. Let's see what he does on the turn. I guess he could have a jack. Here he is firing out a full pot-sized bet, though. Yeah, all right. Let's get that extra bullet in. And we'll switch back over to the 2K. Sounds like a good plan there, Grateful Mouse. Stay out of the pit. Bring the iPad, play a little bit of Hearthstone, or read a book. Read the news. Stay out of the pit. So Monarch Black, I just clicked on that link you sent. I had never watched Little Shop of Horrors until this last year. Actually, I think that we watched it this last December around Christmas time. And Michelle was like, "You never saw Little Shop of Horrors? We have to watch it." That might have been my favorite scene, watching Steve Martin sing about being a dentist.
I'm like that. I'm there.
Con Queso says, define superfish. So superfish, pretty much a player who's going to be seeing way too many hands. His VPIP is way too high, and his aggression is way too low. Loose passive. That's pretty much what you're thinking about when you think of superfish. Someone who's going to be doing a lot of open limping with hands that you probably wouldn't even see a flop with. Someone who's willing to put in way too many big blinds in post flop anytime they catch a pair. And someone who, if they don't catch a pair, if they don't hit their hand at all, then they just auto give up and they don't have a move in them. Very predictable players that you can manipulate and call, and get to call way too much. It's pretty much how I would define superfish. So AZ Clay, Arizona Clay, Cleveland or Cubs. I guess I would like to see the Cubs win. When's the last time the Cubs won the World Series? 1908. So I don't really have much of a dog in the fight, but I guess when you don't care, root for the underdog, right? Chicago has a lot of loyal fans who've been 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 very disappointed. Coonsy, 19 months in a row. Damn, that's a good number. 19 months. Coonsy, thanks so much for keeping the stream alive. I really appreciate it. All right, a little pocket nines action. We're going to make the raise here. So King 10 off made a raise, and I don't think I'm going to re-raise. I'm just going to make the call. So now we're pretty much just set mining with the pocket nines. Kind of hard to imagine a worse flop for pocket nines. I guess the worst flops are when you catch a really strong hand or and are drawing just dead. I guess something like Ace King 9 would be a much worse flop if we were up against like a set of aces or a set of kings. But at least with this flop we're not losing anything. But pretty hard to imagine a scenario where pocket nines is ahead in a five-way pot. Raise pre-flop on an Ace King 10 board, making the fold. What are we looking at? Yeah, I gotta get some coffee. Shoot. 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes until a coffee break. Guys, you are so awesome for joining us. Thanks for hanging out on this Friday night. I hope that your weekend grind goes well. Anybody who's going to be battling on the felt, good luck. Make the call here. So it looks like we're hitting a king. We're not donk leading. Jimmy up had fired an open into us, and now he's firing out 320 into 640, getting called by Ronald C. Very quick call too. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and make the raise here. going to go ahead and make the raise. We're going to go ahead and set ourselves up for a nice big bet on the turn. Just in case Ronald C has something like a 9-10 or a 9-jack. Another king. That looks pretty good. And the 3 of diamonds does nothing for Ronald. So now I guess what we're doing. I mean, I guess what we're going to do here is we're going to hope that we get called with worse. King Jack, King 10 probably calls us here. So let's just hope. Yeah, nice set. I was going to say, let's just hope that he doesn't have a set of 8s or a set of 7s. That's exactly what he had. Nice hand, Ronald. Pretty quick call, huh? Very, very quick call with that set. Not really too much we can do about that. I mean, we're never folding there. You know, if we check to him and he shoves, we're never folding. The only question we're thinking about on that hand is can we induce bluffs if he has hands like 10-9, Jack-9, Jack-10? And I don't think so. I think that we're better off just making the firing out the bet and hoping that we're up against like a King Jack, King 10 type hand, and not a hand like or maybe a stubborn pocket pair. You know, maybe pocket 10s or pocket 9s get stubborn. Maybe ace 8 gets stubborn. But king queen against pocket 8s on a king king 8-7-3 board, you're never getting away from it. So nice hand there, Ronald. Maybe if you're in a live situation and you can just like have just the soul read on your opponent. Maybe if you're super no, you're just not. You know, that's the kind of situation you're looking for with king queen. Ah, man. Yeah, that what's his first name? Will Kassoff. C-Mac. He has me on tilt watching. I just really don't like watching him. Irritates the hell out of me. He's like yeah, I mean, I don't really think that he should be getting penalties. You know, I do feel like, poker's a psychological game, and you should be able to talk to your opponent, especially when it's heads up. I feel like you should be able to. I don't like the Jamie Gold rule of excessive chatter gets you penalties. I think it's bad for the game to just have a whole bunch of people with their headphones and their hoodies, not talking to each other, not engaging in each other. But he sure doesn't. He's just a tool. I hate watching him. And some of the stupid shit that comes out of his mouth just kind of makes me want to cringe. I think that's mainly the reason why everyone's kind of hating on him there at the table. It's not so much because he's talking; it's more how he's talking. And he's just irritating and annoying, and he says just some real cringe-worthy stuff. But I don't know. I don't think that we should be shutting him up. All right, guys. Mason GP. You know what? I've actually heard of that idea before. I haven't heard it called probability poker. I think that's a nice name for it. but I have heard of the idea of having people just chop up their equity at any given point in a hand. What would it mean for tournaments? I mean, it definitely would make for a much slower event. If you didn't have all in confrontations leading to a bust out. Um, and a lot of times you're just not going to see a tournament ever end. Um, I mean, that's kind of what they do when they run it once and run it twice, right? Okay, guys, I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're back. And this is kind of nice. ANAG's making the raise. We're getting called, and we've got pocket queens. Not here to fold pocket queens pre-flop, and not here to play it like it's not the best hand. So let's make it 1,040. One down, two down, three down, probably. Trying to get ANAGs to call that, because I think if ANAGs calls, then it causes that chain reaction of Ronald and Freezer also calling. And then we get 4,000 in there instead of the 800 that we're probably going to be taking. King 10 offsuit. Yeah. Let's make the raise here. So Mason, I feel like it could be, it could, it's a fun idea in theory because how often do we sit back thinking, oh man, if I didn't get sucked out so often, um, poker would just be so much better. I wish that when I'm 85%, I could just win the 85% of the pot. Um, the actual reality of making that happen, especially in a live situation, I think it just gets really messy. What exactly is supposed to happen? Like the dealer's going to have like a little equity calculator, you know, every hand, and then he's going to have to like pop it in. And then like what I just typed in there about would you account for dead cards? Although in Hold'em and Omaha, yeah, like a lot of times you can't really account for dead cards. The truth is, if you are say in a blind versus blind battle with ace king versus pocket queens, the chances of the ace king actually hitting an ace or a king is different than if you raised under the gun, or if you're looking at two middle position players battling it back and forth. Why is that? Well, because if everyone folds to the small blind, the chances are that the aces are very live and that the kings are very live. It's more likely if everyone folds to the small blind that all four aces are still in the deck, all four kings are still in the deck, than if it's like raised here and called, and then three bet here over an a nags, and everyone folds to the under the gun guy who shoves, and now this guy tanks and folds, and this guy tanks and folds, and then one of them turns over ace king and the other turns over queens. In that situation, the ace king might not be anywhere close to a 50-50. If both of those players folded an ace, if this guy folded ace jack and this guy folded ace queen, then it's not even close to a 50-50. On the other hand, if all the aces and the kings are live, then the ace king could actually be ahead. It's kind of hard, if you were doing it online, you could just have the option would just be run it out. So instead of trying to calculate the percentages, you just run out all the different possibilities. Like right here, instead of saying, okay, well, is ace, what's the percentage and where would the extra chip go? You just say, okay, let's run out all the different possibilities and split the pot that way. It's a fun idea. I don't think that it would ever work live because I think it would slow down the game considerably. I also think in tournaments it's kind of it would be kind of weird because in tournaments you kind of need to have situations where if one player is all in, another player is all in, that one with the same amount of chips, and one of them leaves. The whole idea of tournaments and ICM and payout jumps. It really kind of depends on eliminations happening. That's why a lot of times in tournaments you're correct to be folding strong hands in certain situations because of money jumps, because of ICM considerations. And I think that it would I think it would slow down tournaments so much that it would make it just not enjoyable. And I also think that it would take away a lot of those those ICM considerations, which are good for the game. The more things you have to consider, the better and deeper the game goes. Plus I think that there's a good chunk of fear equity. The idea that a confrontation could lead to somebody getting knocked out. If they don't have to worry, if they can make the call when you're shoving on the flop, and know that well, whatever you have, at least they have some equity. They'll get some sort of rebate back. I think it's gonna hurt the better players. In the end, I think that the best thing to do is just to embrace variance. I saw that on a T-shirt once. Brian Rass was wearing the T-shirt, "Embrace variance," and then there was some formula on the T-shirt. I didn't know what the formula was. I was looking at it. I couldn't figure it out. So I asked Brian Rass because it was his T-shirt, and I guess he had designed the T-shirt. I was like, "What is that? What is that formula anyway?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know." It's like, okay, maybe that's something you should know if you're wearing the T-shirt. Maybe that's something you should know. It's your T-shirt. It's the Brian Rast T-shirt. You should know. That isn't too bad, Turbo Burn. $17 at a 1 cent, 2 cent table is pretty good. Nice, nice little, nice. That's actually pretty good hourly at a 1 cent, 2 cent table, man. Good session. Sorry, guys. So I think Mason GP, if you're going to make it something that was optional for the players to do, kind of like having to run it twice checkbox marked, and then like if they get into a confrontation, they run it twice. I think that the thing to do would just be to call it run it out. Instead of run it twice or run it 3 times, you just run it out. And I think that it would only work. It would probably only work in cash games, and it would only work online. And then why not? Something like that would actually be probably good for the cash games. Hack a Hand, good to see you, Joe and Hannah. So, The Girl on the Train, I read that book. Yeah, I know. Not exactly the target audience for that book. You know what? We're gonna write a book. I call it The Girl on the Train. What's your target demographic? Oh, stay-at-home mothers, frustrated housewives, and guys in their mid-30s who gamble for a living. But I'm not the target audience. I don't know how that ended up on my reading list, but I did read it, and I did like it. I did enjoy it. I haven't seen the movie, but I'm sure eventually I will. I'm a fan of Emily Blunt. I think she's pretty awesome. Shoot. I have a little glass straw. I don't know. It looks like looks like the glass is a little fractured. You have to be careful there. Yeah, I'm not gonna be careful. I'm just gonna throw it away. I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, so a couple years ago we bought these glass straws from Amazon. They're awesome, hummingbird glass straws. They're great for anything: coffee, tea, juice, smoothies. They're great for smoothies. You know, we were doing a lot of juicing and smoothies and using plastic straws, and I just felt kind of weird. You know, every single time we have a smoothie, we're just you know throwing away plastic that's going to be here forever. Uh, yeah, it's not really environmentally friendly. I guess glass is not really environmentally friendly either, right? But at least glass you can. I don't know. It seems better than plastic. Is glass better than plastic when it comes down to like filling up landfills? I don't
You can
know.
recycle glass.
I mean, I know that you can recycle glass, but you can recycle plastic too. Anyway, the main thing about glass is you just reuse it and you reuse it and you keep on reusing it. So these glass straws are pretty awesome. I would definitely recommend them. Hummingbird straws on Amazon. Yeah, Monarch Black. That T-shirt would have gone right over my head. Right over my head. And Maverick, you don't need a button to be part of the crew, dude. Crew for life. Don't sweat it. Switch back over to the 2K. It's a little bit further along. Ace 2 offsuit. The Levita River. In the big blind. No small blind. The antes have kicked in. So, yeah, let's go ahead and start making the raise here. 2.5x. See if we can't just get through. If not, we'll see if we can't just get heads up against Levita River. One down, two down, three down. Just need you to fold, Go Thunder, for one of our two plans to materialize. There we go. Mason GP. Yes, I read for pleasure. I'll tell you what book I'm reading right now, and it scares the hell out of me. It's a very scary book. It's a nonfiction book. It's called The Sixth Extinction. The Sixth Extinction. It's basically talking about how human beings are causing a massive extinction, just a huge extinction. We've seen these kind of extinctions before in the past, and usually they're caused by meteors or ice ages. In this case, they're caused by people, and he starts going through and talking about the history of evolution and extinction. Imagine imagine a time where you are a soldier in the French and Indian War, and you're traveling up a river, and you see these bones, and these bones are huge bones from an animal that isn't around. This happened. They're like, what the hell is this? You think back like to the Middle Ages where they are talking about dinosaurs, as maybe dragons. Maybe that's where that came from, the whole idea of dragons, and they were thought, oh my gosh, somewhere there is an animal with a tooth this big, and they're holding a T-Rex tooth. I mean, back then they didn't understand evolution, and they didn't understand extinction. They didn't know that animals would, that a whole species would ever go extinct. And for a lot of scientists back then, they saw it as ludicrous that would ever happen, because the balance of nature was designed perfectly, and if species were actually going extinct, it would mean that it wasn't it wasn't balanced, and nature wasn't balanced, and that would kind of go against the idea of the vision of God that they had back then. So they didn't actually come into the whole idea of extinction, of a species going extinct, until sometime, I think, in the 19th century, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. I mean, when we think about what we know about the world today versus what we knew about it even just 300 years ago, and then you look at the huge timeline of humanity being on Earth for 200,000 years, and we're just now in the last couple hundred years really understanding the universe and our place in it. What a great flop! See, that's a beautiful flop. We go ahead and make the check. Hope that one of these guys decides to fire out. All right, Levita River firing out 200 into 1525, and I'm going to go ahead and make a half pot size check raise here. Even though it's a very strong hand, it's also somewhat vulnerable. We've got a flush draw out there. We've got if someone has like a jack or a queen, they're definitely drawing live. So let's start charging them for the draws. Hell, maybe we can just get it in right now. Nope. Levita River saying goodbye. So anyway, this book is all about how a large number of species are going extinct. We're seeing it, and the way that evolution works is we're supposed to be seeing more new species than species dying out. This is why we have so much biodiversity. Why we have so many different species of mammals and fish and amphibians. And birds and plants, is because more species develop than die out. But in the last 100 years or so, that has not been the case. We've been seeing a lot more species going extinct than are being created, and that's a scary proposition. Let's see a flop here with ace-10 off. It's a little bit optimistic, but you know what? I think that we're going to be able to see it four ways, and every once in a while we're going to just catch lightning in a bottle. Anyway, I haven't finished the book, but kind of where it's headed, I think, is that we're in for a bad time as a species, and we're going to see a lot of we're going to see that trend continue. And what's interesting is it's not even just about the climate change issue. When I was reading it, I figured it would be about climate change, but it turns out it's not really about climate change at all. There are so many more things that humans do to the planet that cause massive extinctions. Just development. For one, the fact that we clear forests to build cities, and you know, clear grassland to cultivate crops. When you look at the exponential growth of humanity as a species, it's new. We what do we have? 7 billion people on the planet, but you turn back the clock even just a few hundred years, and it was so much smaller numbers of people. And now also, since it's so easy for people to travel from one part of the world to the other, we're introducing animals and plants and bacteria from one part of the world that's not really supposed to be in another part of the world, and it's causing it's just causing havoc. It's a really interesting book. I kind of feel like they are probably going to eventually make it into a movie. And it'll probably be some lame documentary that'll get ignored, because I think that it could actually be a really good. They could actually make it like a feature film that wouldn't be a documentary. That would be like, just the imagery of a soldier in the early 1800s finding a tar pit with mastodon bones. That's a really strong image to me. The image of Darwin, like sailing around on the Beagle. That's a strong image. And then you fast forward to frogs going extinct in modern day. That's a strong image. And you fast forward to a little bit of the future, where we look around and instead of what I think we have 7,000 or 8,000 species of mammals. Does that sound low to you? We have like 20. Imagine that could happen. We could get to a point where that happens. Where we're surviving, but we just completely devastate the biodiversity we have on this earth. All right, let's make the fold. CMAC, I still, anytime I go get a, at least lately, anytime I've, gone to get like a Coke, they still sell them in glass bottles. You can still get the glass bottled Coke and the glass bottled Sprite, and it feels better. It tastes better out of a glass bottle. I don't know why. I probably should have stolen that. Pragmat, good to see you. Monarch Black says he read the first Twilight book. I'll judge Monarch Black. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? To be fair, I did go when I was when I was a teenager. I did go through a little vampire fiction phase where I read most of the Anne Rice books, and I liked them. Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing to say. So Hackahan says, "Have you read Pillars of the Earth: World Without End?" I think they have a. They made that into a television series, right? I think Michelle made me watch that television series. All right, so we're doing 600 plus the open limp, 840, and S sated it up. You're gonna go and get the bony fish or that open limp under the gun +1. It's good to see you, by the way, D Wolf. Not the flop we're looking for. Let's go ahead and keep it going, though. Fire out the same amount. We'll see if S sated up decides to check, raise, shove, or make the fold. He decides to make the fold. Let me take a look at that one, Acid Wave. Light reading for the end of the world.
That's cute.
Scotto.org. I'll tell you, I really love Douglas Coupland, who gave the who he has as the little intro there. His Life After God was very good. So yeah, I'll take a look at it. Sweet. Over that 2.5x sweet spot with these pocket aces. Pocket aces never lose. The invincible hand, you guys. The invincible hand. Gone clear, making the call. And we have a Jack 5-4. Oh, gone clear. Making the donk lead. Now he's firing out 3 times the pot. I mean, I'm not folding. If he's got a set of 5s or a set of 4s or queen jack or a set of jacks, then, you know, God bless you. Nope, he's got jack 8 and we're doing just fine. So 30,000? Did we have him covered? No, he had us covered. 30,879 looks pretty good from where I'm standing. That's going to boost us up. It boosts us up to 7th place at a 95. And we get to increase our Aces Cracked meter. And we get to say a big, big thank you to Jeff Jim for resubbing 5 months in a row. Really appreciate that. Thanks, Jeff Jim. Yeah, let's go ahead and close the action here with 7-4 diamonds. Aces never lose, gone clear. Chinch Dog, good to see you, by the way. He says, in my weekly cash game, 1-2 round by round, during Hold'em late in the night, I have 650 in front, and I get pocket aces dealt on the button. This story sounds like it has to end well. I know those aces never lose. Folds to me, I raise to $6. The small blind raises to $20. The big blind folds, I flat. The flop is ace, 9, 7, rainbow. How can you lose? I'm really hoping that this is, one of those hands that turned out to just be you bragging. I'm hoping that I don't think it's gonna be. Small blind loses in our game, bets $30. I raise to $100. He snap calls, king on the turn, and small blind shoves for $400. And I call. Pot is around 1,000. I call and say to small blind, "Show me your set of kings." He shows me the kings, and I am the dealer, and I turn over the 4th king on the river. Ouch. Oh, Chinch Dog, no. No, it wasn't a bragging post. It was a bad beat. It's not what we want to hear. Yeah, let's go ahead and make this 1,400 against What Up, Dog. Our 3-bet just takes it down. I'm fine with that. Acid Wave, glad to hear that you got those patches, man. Hopefully they didn't take too long to get there. If any of you guys are wondering what he's talking about these. If you subscribe to this stream, you get these fist bump patches. They're stick and peel. I should probably put one on right now. Actually, I have one already. It still is kind of sticky. There we go. Guaranteed to bring the run good. As long as you're wearing a fist bump patch, I personally guarantee that your aces will never get cracked. Yes, I guarantee it. It's just like Dumbo's magic feather, man. Speaking of, I think we got to increase our aces cracked meter, right? Yes, indeed. We're at 4. Okay. A little pocket 8s action over here. Animal Mother making the min raise. Already in for 4 rebuys, which is just ridiculous. How did that happen? Oh, yeah. The Trip Kings versus the set. That's how it happened. Yeah, I think we can just make the call here with the pocket 8s. Do a little set mining. We got the Mouse Beast in the stream. Good to see ya. And we whiff the flop. Check fold. Check fold. Let's switch back over to the 2K, where we've got this fun hand. And I think I'm just going to actually slow play this one against Peter Wynn and Dragon Reborn. Pretty perfect turn card. Of course, it could kind of chill our action too, because these guys, the way that I played this hand, are probably looking at me as having like an ace king, ace queen. We'll go for two in a row. We got Dynadon sitting out, so the chance of us getting through here is just so much higher than normal. Yeah, I got Thunder. 10-9-2 board, huh? Sticking with it. I think we're just gonna abandon ship. It's such a wet board. The jack had to have helped him, right? I mean, what are we hoping that he called with on the flop? Ace 8. Okay, we'll go and make that fold right there. All right, so we got What Up Dog making the raise, and we're looking at closing the action with Queen 2 of diamonds. Sure, let's make the call. You're the best, Maverick. It's too funny. Okay, so 6-5-8, not what we're looking for. Kind of an interesting flop, though. I kind of feel like maybe this is not such a bad flop to take a little shot. Let's do it. Go for a little check raise, see if we can't get through What Up Dog's overcards. If all he has is overcards without a spade, he's just not doing much more. And I have some notes on What Up Dog. I know that he's a good enough player to c-bet pretty much anytime. Anytime he's holding the pre-flop aggression against a blind defense, and that board looked like a board that hits a big blind. It's like, oh, 8-6-5 spades. That's exactly the kind of hand that, if I'm defending in the big blind, figures to hit me. So kind of hard for him to continue. We make the check raise, we got through. D Wolf, I don't know. I'm probably not. I'm feeling kind of tired, to tell you the truth. So after these two tournaments are over, I'm gonna be done with the stream. Yeah, right now I think I'm rank 6. It's not looking good for our legendary grind. Okay, so EC Carolan defending in the small blind, Jack 8-2 on the flop, and we're sitting here with pocket sixes, which still figures to be good. I still think that pocket sixes is probably the best hand. But I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to just check back here. Even though there's a lot of cards I'm a little bit worried about giving. I mean, the Queen of Spades is definitely one of those cards that we could have easily just completely screwed our hand here. So now he's firing out the minimum. You definitely see him do that with a lot of different hands, like a random spade. Pretty much the only way we're winning this is if he checks. So he fires out 1,000, and I don't know anything about EC Caroline. Why did I think it was a good idea to just check that back? I'm trying to remember, why was that the plan? C-Mac, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why Helmuth tries to buy insurance all the time. I guess the next time he's on Twitch streaming, maybe you get to ask him. Making the fold there. I just dodged a bullet on the other table. Had a little flush draw against a bigger flush draw. That could have been bad. Could have been really bad. Yeah, I'm just giving up on this, you guys. Nice hand. 600 into 2775. That's sick. Is this like the third hand in a row that we raised? What did Dragon Reborn have? Okay, a little King Queen versus a King 10. Got a lot of value for it too against Peter Wynn. again. And Maverick BP says, for being the best poker player in the world, he sure cries a lot. Well, you know what they say, Maverick. Show me a good loser, and I'll show you a loser. I think one of the things that makes Phil Hellmuth one of the top players out there is just his need to win, his craving, for that victory. He wants it so bad. He wants it so bad every time. And when he misses it, it hurts. It hurts. It doesn't get easier. It gets harder. If you stop caring when you lose, then you're in for a lot of losing. So Mason GP, that's kind of funny. There was a book. I think it was written in the '60s, maybe the '70s, and it was called something like "Play Poker, Quit Work, Sleep Till Noon." And basically, it was all about grinding out. You know what? I think I'm going to make the fold here, actually. It was all about grinding out a living at home games. And that question actually came up in the book. And his answer was, when you're grinding home games, what you really need to be doing is keeping track of who's winning and losing. And if the player in question is a big losing player, then you need to do everything that you can to make sure that he keeps on playing. It doesn't matter if he's cheating or not. And if he's winning, then you need to get him out of the game. It doesn't matter if he's cheating or not. It was like he gave some some examples, I think, about how, like, one of the big winning players, he would always just like have a miserable time, and always point out that, like, he wasn't chipping in for, like, the snacks, wasn't doing his fair share for the group, and he just always berated him and made him feel like crap, to the point where he wouldn't want to keep on coming back. And then there was another guy who got caught cheating, and he saw that the guy who ran the home game noticed it, and he called him aside really quick, and he's like, "Don't do anything rash, man. Bob over there, he's been losing so much for the last year that we've been playing. The worst thing you can do for him is just to let him keep on playing and let him keep on losing. That's going to be his punishment." And the guy who runs the home is like, "Oh yeah. I don't agree with that. I think that if you catch somebody cheating at cards, you should just never play with them again. And you should out them and say, nope, I don't play with cheaters." And I think that's probably the better way to go. There are more important things than just worrying about your bottom line. Maybe just ban him from the game for a while. I don't know. I guess at some point. Um, it's just yeah. I don't think that I would. I don't think I'd play with him, Mason. And Like a Fool. That's probably the same book that we're talking about. It's probably the same one. And Ace is up. I'm not trying to make excuses for Helmuth. I am not trying to make excuses for how he berates players because he certainly does that. He definitely is, a bad sport when he loses, and it's frustrating to watch. It's frustrating to experience. I've been on the I've been on the wrong side of a couple of beratements. you know, there was one time when I made an open with 7 high in Raz. So 7-4-2, pretty good hand. But he was sure. Let's go ahead and make the open here. Try to get through Dynadon. He was sure I was bluffing with a paired card, so he defended with a queen showing. And on 4th Street, he was just sure that I didn't catch good when I caught a 3, and I did catch good. On 5th Street, I had him board locked, but he kept on calling on 5th Street. He kept on calling on 6th Street, and then he missed whatever draw he was going for on 7th. Pretty sure that I just had him like straight up board locked. There was nowhere for him to go. Gosh, you know what? Getting 4-1 dragon, I don't really see how I can fold here. I will fold. And he started berating me, talking about how he knew exactly where I was, all the way in the hand, and he still can't catch, and he's just berating me. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say, no, actually, I had you drawing dead on 5th Street, champion. I didn't say that. I let him just go ahead and rant. By the way, look at this, C-Mac donating $100 just for the company. He says, C-Mac, you're the best. Thank you so much. You know what? I think that's the first donation we've had all October. Been pretty dry in the way of donations, so I really appreciate that. Definitely helps ease the pain too in this 3K guaranteed, where I'm in 4 rebuys, and this is quite a bit more expensive than I had hoped. C-Mac, hey man, I really appreciate it. If there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. Next time you're coming through Vegas, I definitely owe you a beer. Guys, I'm gonna be right back. All of you are awesome. We're on break. All right then, guys. We're back. Got a little coffee, a little more of a caffeine drink. Planning on going late tonight. What's up, Krusties? Good to see you in the stream, man. A little 4-5 of hearts in the big blind. That's it's playable. We got EC Carolan open limping under the gun. Not something I would advise, guys. I don't think it's a good move. And you know, Dragon Reborn, he's been seeing us make a lot of pre-flop aggressive moves, so I'm gonna just make the check here and see the free flop with our 5-4. Interesting flop, 3 diamonds with the 5. We could easily be ahead. I don't really love the idea of giving free cards, but just check fold. If both of them check, then maybe we fire out a bullet on the turn, depending on what the turn card comes, as long as it's like underneath a 9. But with 5-4 of hearts on that board, we're behind anybody who has even a diamond. And if somebody has a king, we're in real bad shape. If Dragon Reborn was sitting there with like pocket 7s with a 7 of diamonds, we're in real bad shape. Let's go ahead and make a little raise here. And you know what? I think I'm going to actually start making it a little bit more from the small blind. Usually I'm making it 3x. I think I'm going to start making it 3.5x. I'm going to try it. Wow. Ace, ace, 5. Well, I don't often slow play, but we're going to slow play that. EC Carolan firing out 400 into 3250. Queen of clubs still ahead. $1,600. And yeah, we're just going to check again and induce another bluff. So he fires out 1,600 into 7,250. And we make a very, very small bet. Try to get through. And we do get the call. Looks like he had an ace as well. He had ace 2. So I guess we could have gone for the jugular there. We won 7,400 that hand. We won more than half of his stack, but you know what? We could have won the whole thing. We could have won the whole thing. All we need to do is keep on firing out. Instead of slow play, keep on firing out. But you know, he has to have one of a very small number of hands to actually pay us off with that board. I still think that we played it right. Not given what we know he had. He had ace two offsuit. So if I knew that he had a weaker ace, I'm definitely going to be firing out, firing out, firing out. Jay Zager, good to see you. Doing pretty good. No complaints. So Lord Bakel, Lord B.A. Eichel. Kind of makes me wonder. I mean, does it actually work? You know, if you just start spamming every channel on Twitch asking for $10 to your PokerStars account, I mean, does it actually work? I mean, if it doesn't work, then why would he be doing it? But I just can't imagine that. There's nobody out there who's like, of course, Nuss, here you go. I mean, in the history of Twitch, like in the history of Twitch poker, I just don't see that ever happening. You know what, Nuss? I will donate to you. No, it's not gonna happen, man. Maybe I should have fired out a bet there on the end to try to get a better ace out. Probably should have. I got caught up thinking about the futility of the futility of Nuss's quest here. I forgot to take a shot on the river. So yeah, lights out. I know that it seems like I've been doing a lot of raising here, lights out. I have. You know what though? This time I actually have something really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and re-raise. And yes, I'm prepared to get it all in here. It's a $10 tournament and it's late. I feel tired. And at this point, if he makes the shove, then we're looking at 2-1 to make the call. Probably he just calls though, and we play post flop aggressively. Well, 6-7. Wow. So yeah, this is gonna suck if he makes the shove because we'll call. It'd be 54-14. So it'd be getting 4-1, and we're like 3-1 against pocket queens or pocket jacks. So. Yeah. I'm trying to think. C-Mac was that was the hand where he was sitting there with pocket threes, taking like 10 minutes to decide whether to make the call or not. Right when Johnny Bax called Kusef a clown. I liked that hand too. I liked that hand too. He doesn't want to talk to you. He doesn't want to talk to you. No one wants to talk to you. uh, it was kind of cool watching. As you know, Khrushchev did a pretty good job manipulating his weaker opponents, but once you start getting to the very end, you're up against some real, real sharks at the table. And then kind of sophomore level Jamie Gold, Chad is just, it's not gonna do it. I guess it's done it before. I guess Jamie Gold did it. So he talked he talked a lot of players into making the wrong move against him, including Alan Cunningham, if I remember that three-way match correctly. So I guess sometimes it works. Let's go ahead and make the call there. Pretty good flop for our king queen. And Love It a River firing out 500 to 3,700. It's another one of those examples of those hands we were talking about earlier in the stream about how do you play small pocket pairs, and you pretty much based on how the hand goes pre-flop, you decide whether it's going to be a set mining spot or a spot where maybe the pocket twos is ahead without improvement. Here, what's up, baby? Oh my gosh, infectious laughter over there. What are you looking at over there? I was right in the middle of a deep strategy talk. And yeah, we're gonna make the fold here. And you know what, like a fool, that was a big that was a big scam on Seals with Clubs for a while when I was playing on there. So yes, public service announcement. If anybody ever tries to get you to transfer anything of value for PayPal, then buyer, trader beware, because PayPal does have a 100% renunciation policy, is what Like a Fool is calling it. What I do know is there were a lot of situations where people were buying chips on online sites with what were they doing? They were transferring chips to other people for PayPal, and then 2 months later, they would get the bad news from their, in their email that PayPal reversed that transfer. And yeah, don't fall victim to that. Don't fall victim to that. Hey, we got Flatty in the stream. Great to see you, Flatty. Ugh. Guys, I have a weird hand going on here in the 3K. So I made a raise to 700 here at the 153 125. Well, now it's not weird. Now I can just let it go without even thinking about it. But I don't know what I was going to do against Animal Mother. Yeah, look at that. I forgot name, and that flop pretty much saved me. That could have been a disaster if I forgot name made the fold there, because I would have strongly considered check raising Animal Mother and deciding that my pocket threes were ahead on a 7-7-6 board. We get to go ahead and make a few notes on Animal Mother. Okay, Quippy. That four spades isn't really supposed to help his hand much. On the other hand, what am I hoping he has? King Jack? I guess that's what I'm hoping for. It's kind of a sick line for him to take. I guess I'm going to just make the call there on the turn so that... wow. I have no idea where I am in this hand. We can check back. There's nothing wrong with checking back with King Queen. We can also just go to Value Town. Might be driving ourselves there, though. Well, that's good news. What do you have? King Jack? Are we thinking King Jack? King 8. King 8. Trichotomy, thank you. Appreciate that. Stay on the rail. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I guess we go ahead and fire out a half pot here against Quippy. Should be a pretty good flop for pocket sevens. And Wee Wee, Michelle's here. She's just she had her wisdom teeth pulled this weekend.
Last week.
Oh, this week, not this weekend. This week. So still a little recovery going on there. I'll drag her onto the stream next week. Yeah, let's go switch back over to the 3K, you guys. Where we've got over 50,000 chips now. Looking pretty good, 5 out of 58. And we're going to take a shot right here. I think we can get through everybody. Yeah, we can get through everybody. The power of the big stack. This is why you don't want to open limp Got Thunder. Go Thunder. And yeah, we could just make the shove right here, actually. He's got 6.5, 7 bigs, so let's just make the shove. I would like to see that little clip of Helmuth stay on the rail. If you've got a link, I'd shoot me a line with it. That sounds kind of awesome. Sounds kind of awesome. Right. John Blaze, good to see you. And Dead Draw Todd, great to see you in the stream, man. Let's open it up. Kind of curious how did Levita River get so many chips? There it was, queens against fours. And Lights Out making the shove. I probably would have called just Lights Out, but I'm not going to call them both. Ace King, pocket nines, and King 10. Not seeing there go Thunder. So it looks like most of Levita's River's chips came from getting it all in with queens against fours against Lights Out. See you later, Turbo Burn. And yeah, EC Carolan, I will definitely be calling if you make the shove here. This would actually be kind of a cool spot for him to shove and someone behind call. Because then maybe we make a squeeze play. Maybe. Guess it depends on who. Wow, now we get a really huge hand. Yeah, you know, get you all in. They didn't give her codeine. They just gave her ibuprofen.
They didn't give me anything.
Well, they told you to take ibuprofen, right? And that's the rub. You know, sometimes we don't want to get through, sometimes we do. We didn't really want to get through that time. But, of all the ways that could have gone down, just stealing the blinds is okay. Definitely not the worst case scenario. I never liked that saying. It feels just like kissing your sister. Feels like kissing your sister. You guys know that saying? It's like, it's a weird saying. You shouldn't say that. People say that all the time when they get walks with aces and stuff.
They do?
Yes, they do. I'm telling you, they do. Feels like kissing your sister. It's a weird thing to say, dude. Stop saying that, man. Stop saying that. La Vida River. I'm going to go ahead and make the check raise. This feels awesome. I don't think La Vida River fires out there without a 10. Or without something. So we're going to try to make this a very big pot. Fire out half pot here. All right. Wow, and it's just raining sets, you guys.
You did another set?
I did, yeah.
Of two after the twos?
This is a wet enough board that I think that maybe making a raise is better than just making the call. I think that we can get it in here. Never mind. Nothing to see here. Move along. Nothing to see. Move along. Guys, when La Vida River made the call there on the flop, I thought for sure she was going to keep on firing out calls. I thought for sure she had like an overpair or a 10. Mason GP just subscribing to the stream. Mason, thank you very much. Pretty sure that's not your first sub. I really appreciate it. Thanks very much for keeping the stream alive and keeping the channel going. I'm going to send you that welcome email just in case you want to grab a couple more fist bump patches and you don't have the link. And the download link to my book, Poker Tilt, guys. Don't forget that. If you decide that you want to support the stream with a sub, you get a book to read. I hear it's pretty good. Got some pretty good reviews on Amazon. It's over 4. So I'm happy with it. Thanks so much for clicking on that sub button, Maverick Mason. Sorry. Thanks for clicking on that button, Mason. Really appreciate that. Wow. And look at EC Carolan, just willing to just fold out of this tournament. I mean, how did that happen? Wow. You gotta love it. You know, here you got EC Carolan just folding until he even folds through the big blind and the small blind when he has less than two big blinds in front of him, and then finally gets it all in good with two antes and doubles up with an ace queen versus queen five. This guy's never going to win a tournament that way, you guys. It's just never going to happen. Yeah, we're going 2,500 here. And the formula is 1,700 plus the 800. And it's always going to come down to E.C. Carolan finally getting the very last bit of chips in with the best hand. And getting cracked. I mean, that's how it's going to work. He's going to get it in with ace queen. He's going to get called with like a jack six because he's pushing with 2.5 big blinds, and then he's going to complain about a bad beat and complain about how bad he runs at poker. You just can't do this. One of the quickest ways you can improve your tournament game, you guys, if you feel like you're struggling, is to start reading and implementing, a good push fold strategy. When you get down to, I'm going to say 14 or less big blinds, then your decision becomes pretty easy pre-flop, and it's pretty much, do you shove or do you fold? You don't really have a lot of options when you're down to like 7 bigs. It's just shove or fold. If someone else opens, then you're usually folding. But if everyone folds to you, then you have to really give some serious consideration to making the open shove. And if you don't, and you let yourself just fold down to, 2 big blinds, 1 big blind, you're just dead in the water. The only time you should ever have that few of chips, that small of a stack, is if you get into a big confrontation with another stack that's roughly the same size as you and end up losing that confrontation. That's the only time you should ever look down and see, 3 bigs or 2 bigs. Because otherwise you should be making the open shoves pre-flop when you get down to like 10 or 9 or 8 or 7 bigs. You just shouldn't let yourself get down that low. If you do find yourself getting down that low, then you're doing something wrong. And you're going to be complaining to all of your friends about how unlucky you got because you got it all in with the best hand. Like, I'm sure E.C. Carolan probably has a better hand than Levita River's going to call, but E.C. Carolan should never get through here. And I don't really like that raise there. What up, dog? I think if you're going to raise it, you really should probably be raising more, really putting the pressure for Levita River to make the fold. And actually create a side pot for you to steal too. So ace 4, queen 2. I don't even know what to say about that one. I guess, maybe Carolan there was listening, or maybe Carolan saw Dynadon sitting out and thought that's the best opportunity they're going to get, which at that point it was the best opportunity. I will say, that is the best move for that stack on that hand, but the fact that Carolan folded her way down to that stack and then decided, oh, queen 2, this is my spot, that seems just so weird to me. So the network says that it's weird is the entire point of saying it. I take it you say that, and I take it that is a that's one of those phrases you enjoy using at the poker table. All right, it's all right. You can joke about it if you think it's funny. just remember this. Just remember this, the network. If you tell a joke and you're the only one laughing, then is it really a joke? crack up at my jokes all the time. I understand what you're going through. Yeah, getting 7-1. Yeah, hell yeah, let's make the call. See what happens. King 5. What are we looking for? I don't know. I don't really know what we're looking for. Bob Loblaw sitting here with an 11k stack. Queen 2-2 on the flop. It might be a good flop for us. We actually might be ahead with our king high. See what Levita River decides to do. And there's our gin card. So let's fire out the 1900. Maybe we get called with like an ace jack or pocket threes or queen 9 if Bob Loblaw has happens to have tried to slow play a queen. I mean, that's the gin. HSNO Control just finished the book. Thank you very much for giving it a read, man. I do appreciate it. Definitely parts of that book that I would revise. You know, the bits about randomness, entropy in the universe probably needs some revision. I was doing some light reading, and I've come to have some different views on that. Sweet. Look at that. Ultra Tough Guy just subscribed with Twitch Prime. Ultra Tough Guy, thank you so much. Big fist bump to you. Welcome to the crew, man. Thanks so much for supporting the channel, and thanks for helping me pay my bills this month. Really appreciate it. If it wasn't for you and subscribers like you, I wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you so much for keeping this stream going. You get some stuff too. Besides my forever thank you, you're gonna get some cool stuff. A couple of fist bump patches coming your way. I'll ship them anywhere in the world. And my book, Poker Tilt, digital version. After the stream, I'll make sure to send over that welcome email your way. Ultra Tough Guy, thank you so much, guys. Can we get some fist bumps for Ultra Tough Guy, newest member of the crew? Really appreciate the support, man. And guys, take a look. He's subscribing with Twitch Prime, which is pretty awesome. If you already have Amazon Prime, then there's really no reason. I'm going to make the fold here, actually. I feel like we've been so aggressive, and What Up Dog is, you know, he knows it. I don't think we're going to get through What Up Dog, and we're going to be taking a... Yeah. How did I smell it? I don't know. But hey, yeah, guys, if you are paying for Amazon Prime, then you get Twitch Prime for free, which comes with all sorts of really cool perks. Free games, free skins in games like Hearthstone and Smite. And you also get an ad-free Twitch experience, right? If you're subscribing to a stream, you get ad-free. But if you're Twitch Prime, you get ad-free everywhere. No more ads on Twitch if you're Twitch Prime. This is free. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you get Twitch Prime for free. So there's no reason not to do it if you have an Amazon Prime account. If you don't have an Amazon Prime account, I would strongly suggest it. You know, if you're paying for cable right now, you can save a lot of money every year by cutting the cord and signing up for Netflix and Amazon Prime. You get so many cool TV shows and so many cool movies on demand. Amazon also has Amazon Music, where you can listen to a bunch of cool songs and playlists. They just released something called Amazon Unlimited Music, which is basically every album that they sell you can listen to, which I've really been enjoying. I bought into that, and I've been listening to a lot of stand-up comedy albums, which just have me rolling. But look, the bottom line is this: if you've got Amazon Prime, then you should probably go ahead and take the step of connecting your Twitch account with your Amazon Prime account, because you get it for free. There's all sorts of really cool things that come with it, including a free sub that you get to give to any streamer you want every month. And I'll tell you, I really appreciate it, Ultra Tough Guy. As a streamer, I get the same amount of money from a normal regular sub and a Twitch Prime sub. So, the whole Twitch Prime program was basically like a big gift from Amazon to all the streamers, and it's been nice. I really appreciate it, Ultra Tough Guy. Thanks for spending your Twitch Prime sub here on this channel. Okay, think 4 thoughts. That's not what we're looking for. Got second to none making that weird min raise. I guess we're just gonna be done with this hand. I mean, the plan when second to none made the raise was pretty much just set up or fold, set up or get out. And now that Go Thunder is making the shove, it's just even more. We need that to be a 4, or that to be a 4 to continue with his hand. And look at Levita River sitting there making the overcall. And here, second to none probably has an overpair. Doesn't know what to do with it. Wow. So Go Thunder with the overcards and the queen. Levita River's ace-10 gets cracked, but Go Thunder is pretty much a coin flip there. Now, usually Go Thunder is going to be a pretty big favorite with 15 outs twice, but he doesn't have 15 outs twice because his ace, the 2 aces that are left in the deck aren't going to help him. By the way, G Diminished 9, 15 months in a row subbing to the stream and being part of the crew. Really appreciate it. He says, "What's up, buddy? Hope you're feeling better." I am feeling better. Had a little bit of a stomach thing going on this week, but I'm at about 80-85%. So Mason GP, I'll tell you, it sounds like an awesome story. I do feel though that there's probably not too much value trying to figure out stuff about entropy by going back to Isaac Asimov. Just because so much has come out in astrophysics in the last like 20 years. With this new like M theory, string theory kind of stuff, it's definitely changing my my viewpoint about what kind of place randomness has in the universe. And when you start thinking about, well, if there are parallel universes, then probably everything that can happen does happen. That's pretty mind-blowing, and it starts making you think about randomness a little bit differently. One thing that was really interesting to me, I was reading what was it? I think it's called The Grand Design. It was Stephen Hawking. And he talked about how not only is the future not really set, but the past isn't really set either. That there are different pasts that could bring us to this same point in time space, and that we have to think about, just like we think about the future probabilistically, we also have to think about the past probabilistically, which I felt like was kind of mind-blowing. When I think about the past, I think about, well, there's something that happened, and we can think about, we can get to what happened by looking at where we are now in a causal, in a causal universe. A leads to B leads to C. So if you can kind of figure out, the any state at any one point in space time, you could go back indefinitely. I really felt that. But now I'm after reading that book, it kind of blew my mind, thinking more like, oh, the past isn't actually set in stone, and you have to think about it probabilistically. And there's a lot of different paths past universe paths that could bring you to where you are right now, which is kind of crazy. It's a weird way of thinking about it. I don't know, but you know what? It sounds like it's going to be an awesome short story to read. I just don't know if I feel like there's been enough changes when we're thinking about randomness and entropy because of string theory, and it just wasn't around. When did Asimov die anyway? Isaac Asimov died in 1992. Yeah, so I think that he missed out on a lot of the newer developments in astrophysics. Sweet. Phil Hellmuth shows his reading ability. Thank you very much for that. That links down the rail. I'm going to watch that. Actually, you know what? We should probably put it up on break. They're going to mute us, though, if we do. I know they're just going to mute me if I do. That's weird, Boogalicious. I don't know what to say about that. You should be able to see the past broadcasts. No, I can see them on my own thing. Maybe it's just an issue that Twitch is having right now, and hopefully it'll be resolved really soon. If it's not, let me know, and I'll make some inquiries. You can also always just email Twitch support. But they should be right there under past broadcasts. And you know what, Don Juan? I'm going to give up. I'm going to give up with one of the worst hands you can have pre-flop. Nine out of 40, guys. How much does this pay anyway? 15. So we're still a ways away. We're at 5 tables. It pays right after 2 tables. So we're not really quite at the point where we can be, super aggro and really pick on these smaller stacks. I'm going to make the fold there. And we'll fold here too. 9-2 of diamonds. We have this hand going. Made the raise against T-Right 1787, who was thinking about making the shove against us. And if he does, we'll make the call. Not going to love it, but yeah, that's pretty much what we'd have to do if he makes the shove. So I think if you're in T-Right's position, you might be better off just making a stop and go. Anyway, let's switch back over here to the pocket fours. Where Go Thunder just dropped 15,000. Could have been a lot more there, Go Thunder. Could have been a lot more. I wonder what he folded there. So, Mason, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read it. I'm going to give it a read after the stream. Looks like it's on a lot of different compilations for Isaac. And from behind, let's fire out here and see if we can't take this pot. So here's an example of when it's right to just shove. I almost made the mistake of making it 3,300, and then I was like, wait a minute, we're at 10 big blinds. It's shove time. Open shove, hope to get through. If we don't, hope to get called with ace 3. Wow, that's not what we're trying to do. That's not what we're looking for. Okay, so the $30 is no more. No, I don't want to watch Tournaments hand. That tilts me every time they ask me that. Do you want to watch Tournaments hand history? No. No, I don't. I don't want to relive that. Thank you very much, though, WSOP. Please check your grammar. Okay, guys, we're still doing really well in this one, the 2K guaranteed. 136 players started. We're in 7th place with 35 players to go. 15 places pay $927 up top, which would be a pretty good day. Gonna be right back in 4 minutes, you guys. Don't go anywhere. We are gonna like take over the poker world. Okay, guys, we're back. We got the King 3 offsuit in the big blind. A huge, huge. Okay, so no, that's not a huge hand. Hey, I also have a big, big shout out for Guam Boy giving that Twitch Prime sub our way. Thank you so much, Guam Boy. I really appreciate that, man. Thanks for keeping this stream going. And I know you got a lot of choices when you're thinking about where to spend that free Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much for spending it right here. I think that you've subbed before, so you've probably already gotten that welcome email with the fist bump patches. But I'm going to send it over your way again anyway. And I just can't tell you how much I appreciate it, man. It really does mean the difference between living and starving. So thank you very much. Thank you. King Koopa, 18 months in a row. King Koopa, man, thank you. Says, yeah, good luck, good luck. I really appreciate that, King Koopa. Thanks for keeping the sub going. Really appreciate it. All right, Pocket Twos. We got From Behind coming in with a raise, and look how many chips he's got. That's an awful lot of chips. So let's just turn these Pocket Twos into a set. Queen 8-4. Might just check folding here. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the plan was to hit a set or abandon ship. I don't know though. From Behind, firing out 3250 makes me kind of think that maybe these twos are good. Let's continue. 17,000 in the middle. It's From Behind. Go for all three bullets. He's not stopping. Not stopping. Now he has okay. You got it From Behind. Nice hand. If he's bluffing, he deserves the pot. Give that man his money. And by the way, yes, HSNO control. This is the Nevada-Delaware pool. I am pretty sure that we're playing with some Delaware players here. We might have just given up a pot that we would have won against From Behind. He might have had something like an ace-jack, some sort of six-outer there. He might have stolen that one. Might have stolen that one. Brock Shot, welcome to the stream, man. Good to have you here. We have Babyface ATL in the stream. Always a pleasure to see you, Babyface. I hope that your weekend's going well. I hope that things are good in your life. By the way, guys, if you have Netflix, make sure to check out the new Black Mirror season. It just came out today, and it's pretty good. The very first episode was just had me rolling. It was great. It was great. The girl who plays the main character in episode 1 of this third season was just wonderful. My favorite episode of the third season was called San Junipero, and it was pretty touching. I really liked it. Nice hand there From Behind. I'd really like to see a few of the hands that From Behind is going to be turning over. That one doesn't count. That one doesn't really count. I guess he did raise it pre-flop, didn't he? Making it 3,700 pre-flop, knowing that there's going to be a player all in. I just don't know how he's playing. I've only seen about 10 hands. I don't think I've ever actually played with From Behind before. Gonna make the fold here. So we're almost down to 3 tables. It starts paying at 15, so just after we hit 2 tables. Interesting. So here we've got from behind limping on the button. Let's go ahead and isolate this with a pot-sized bet. So we don't get through from behind, but I think we can probably get through here. Okay, 9 high is no good. I mean, shoot, from behind, even if you're bluffing, you have the best hand. Puts us back down to under 50K. I guess that's chalk one up to momentum there. I think there's a pretty decent chance that from behind had nothing and was just like, he's not going to call. Well, I would have called with the queen. Would have called with pretty much any pocket pair. I would have called if we had something like 9-2 instead of 9-4, and I would have called with a flush draw. But apart from all those, you're right. I'm not calling with a huge chunk of my range there. So nice move from behind. Even if you're bluffing with the best hands. So. We're still making moves like that, though. RT Kabuto, the show is Black Mirror. It's pretty good. It's kind of like a modern version of The Outer Limits or Twilight Zone. It's a lot more like Outer Limits. You know, I love the Twilight Zone, both the old ones and the new ones that came out. I think in the '90s, early '90s. I think they did like kind of a remake of the Twilight Zone. I loved all of them. I think I'm pretty sure I've watched every single Twilight Zone that they ever came out with. It was I absolutely love them. The old ones. I didn't watch every single episode of the new seasons back in the early '90s or whatever with Forrest Whitaker. Raj Fritz the third. Boom! Thank you so much. Really appreciate you subscribing. Thank you very much for giving that Twitch Prime sub this way. I really appreciate it. You're awesome, man. Welcome to the crew. You're gonna get some stuff too, by the way. Besides all the perks that you've come to expect from subbing to your average Twitch channel. We're a little above average here. We give you some perks. We give you a couple of fist bump patches, stick and peel. Also giving you a download version of my book Poker Tilt. So thank you so much for that. I'm gonna go ahead and send out that. I'll send out the welcome email as soon as the stream's over. We got the Guire doing the same thing. Twitch Prime Guire. Thank you very much, man. Welcome to the crew. Guys, can we give some fist bumps out to Raj and the Guire? You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for keeping the channel going and keeping the stream afloat. Interesting. So the 7 comes out, and now we have a lot of outs here, 10 outs. I think we're going to go ahead and continue with our drive. Hopefully we don't get check raised here from Voff. Ugh. Now we're just hoping that he has a busted spade draw. Yeah, that jack hurts us. Hurts us pretty good. Guys, this is a tough one. I do know some things about Voff. One thing I know is he's pretty sticky. Usually when a player is pretty sticky, they're willing to bluff. Another thing I know about Voff is he doesn't do a lot of slow playing, so I feel like if he had a jack, I'd be surprised if he was slow playing it. Here he's just making the shove, and the only thing we're beating is a spade draw, but I think that's what he's got, so screw it. We're going to make the call. No, he's got the jack. So that's going to do it for our 2K, guys, and that's it for our Friday. That's rough. Nice value bet there, Voff. Going for the blood, going for the throat, and getting the call. You know, a lot of times those kind of all-in shoves look bluffier than if he was going to make it like half pot or 2/3 pot or, you know, whatever. Definitely a lot of jacks that he can have in his range. You know, Jack 10, Jack 9, King Jack, Queen Jack, Ace Jack. And we can go down the list of jacks that he can have in his range. But there's also a lot of other hands I think that he can have in his range where he's going to decide to make the bluff. Any spade draw that missed, I think that he makes the bluff there. You know, especially with the stacks as they were. He was in a spot where he had us pretty well crushed. We're getting kind of close to the payouts, and you know, a lot of hands. I think he just decides to go ahead and make a bluff there. So we're kind of in one of those spots where we just have to, you know, come up with some ranges and say, okay, let's say half the time he's got the jack, half the time he's got a busted flush draw or some other some other weird holding like, you know, King 10 or Ace 4 that he's turning into a bluff or something. What are we going to do? We're getting about 2-1 to make the call, so we only have to be right about 34% of the time. Not really happy about it. I guess if I could do it over again, I would have just checked back on the turn, because then it kind of acts as some pot control. I don't really think that calling on the river was as big of a mistake as betting on the turn, because when he calls on our flop bet, he's pretty much saying, look, I've got something here, whether it be a spade draw or whether it be a jack. And when we fire out again on the turn, even though we have that, you know, straight draw, especially because we have the straight draw, we open ourselves up to a really uncomfortable check raise where we could be getting blown off of our draw. When the second jack comes on the end, now it's less likely that he has a jack. You know, there's fewer combinations now of that Jack X, so that busted spade draw sure looks, you know, a lot more likely, and it also is just the perfect bluff card for Voff. If we didn't fire out the bet on the turn, which was, you know, I actually felt like we were probably ahead. You know, when he just checked on the turn. When we fired that out, we inflated the pot to the point where if he makes the value bet on the end, then he can get our whole stack in. So when I look back at where we went wrong in this tournament, I guess trying to get from behind off of a hand pre-flop with that little cutesy pot bet with 9-4 was a little bit optimistic. I mean, especially because everything had been going from behind's way, and then making that bet on the turn with the 5s against Voff. I actually think that was a bigger mistake than either the 9-4 squeeze or the call on the river. So it goes, guys. That's poker. You can't make the right moves every night. I'm going to be back tomorrow for some more great poker action. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you being here. And thanks for the new subs. We got Jesus Poker just subscribing. Jesus Poker, thank you so much, man. Thank you very much for supporting the stream and the channel and keeping the boat afloat. I'll be back tomorrow, you guys. I hope that you have some run good tonight if you're still on the grind. If you're still in any of these tournaments, by the way, good luck to you guys. We'll be back tomorrow sometime, I think around... I'm going to shoot for around 7 p.m. tomorrow. So make sure to join us tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you being here. See you later.